Hi my loves, Jarae, Milay, the girl from around the way, where we have culture, conversation, and community. And in today's video, I'm coming to you all with a STARZ Network P-Valley review. Okay, the name of this episode is called The Death Drop. Let's get into it. Opening scene. Okay, so we have Mercedes, the gas, on the pole, and she's, doing what she does, on the pole. But she's obviously still struggling. The shoulder is still giving her some issue, okay? Uncle Clifford comes in and notices and says, I don't think that shoulder is all the problem. I think some of that is in your head. And, you got to keep trying, basically, is what Uncle Clifford is saying. So Mercedes hauls off and say, well, if I got to keep trying, then you got to keep trying too. And as far as saving the paint. And Mercedes is disgruntled. Uncle Clifford is kind of looking like, good point, touche. And then you know how they do down in the valley where the girls get naked. First scene, we have Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda, and Uncle Clifford is lining him up, doing his little thing on his haircut, and Lil Murda is calling somebody for Uncle Clifford. So they're talking, they're like, where you going? And Lil Murda's like, nowhere. And he was just like, well, you got all these secrets, LaMarcus, I'm not finna be one of your secrets. And Lil Murda is just like, well, listen, I thought we already squashed that last night. And Uncle Clifford was like, well, just because you give me some olive branch booty doesn't mean that I'm going to still be one of your secrets. And Lil Murda is like, olive branch, more like oak tree. I'm like, okay, Lil Murda, you better speak up or forever hold your peace, nigga. Uncle Clifford is calling the hospital to check on Grandma Ernestine. There's still no updates. And basically, this scene ends with Uncle Clifford walking out, and Lil Murda was like, where you going? He was like, unlike you, I'm going somewhere, period. Oh, prior to that, they have a little whole banter about being protected. Were you protected? I was protected the whole time. And this, were you protected down in New Orleans? And this, that, and the third. And, I liked how they placed that in there, their little banter between one another. So we have the little hood scene with Mercedes. She's jogging with Blackie Mile, and that's her pit bull, y'all. And like, how good of a ghetto name can you name your dog? Black and Mild, period. She rolls up on Maine looking like how Maine look, y'all. And it's like, oh, you back out home? You back home already? He was just like, yeah, the corona got niggas leaving jail, and I'm one of them. So I'm like, yo, that is so true, because I remember a couple people coming home like, are you home? Because of the corona, y'all. So I just like the whole scene of Mercedes like jogging through the hood, because they always like to say black girls don't work out, you can't work out in the hood. She in her hometown, she letting it be known, I'm out here exercising. Go ahead, black girl. Maine says that they're having a block party and wants Mercedes to be his date. The next thing, we have Keyshawn and Haley, girl, and Keyshawn is at the diner, the same diner that we saw a few episodes back of Derek and Keyshawn's first date, and she meets with Haley, and she's ordering. She's like, I don't have enough time. She hands her the birth certificates, and she's like, I need these back so he doesn't notice that they're gone. And with the birth certificate, she's like, I'm gonna get you some passports. So we see Keyshawn's exit plan, or more like escape plan, forming. Autumn says that I want you to do opening night at the Pink, and she was like, the Pink? Derek is not gonna let me do it. She said, listen, what other choice do you have? He doesn't have any options. You can take whatever you make at the door, at the floor, whatever, and you take that money and you haul ass. Just tell him you're going to give him everything, and then I'll take it from there. A part of me feels like Haley is killing two birds with one stone. She knows Mercedes isn't ready, and she can help out Keyshawn in the process, period. So Keyshawn is leaving, and she's like, I looked up Haley Colton. She said that she died in a flood in Texas. And she said, yeah, and here I am sipping coffee at a Chuckalisa diner, and who knows where I'm going to go next. Keyshawn walks out. That was the end of her little scene or interaction. And then we see on the TV a slanderous campaign ad taken out from the Chuckalisans for Truth. And basically in this campaign ad, they're saying Andre's a liar. He said, he was born to a drug-addicted mom, and he said his father was dead. Lo and behold, the father ain't dead. He just on death row, in jail, in prison for murder, okay? And the next very scene, we're thrusted into an altercation between Corbin and Andre. And Corbin's like, I put all this money up behind you. Why you ain't tell me that, I thought you was going to clear out all your skeletons from Chuckalisa to Atlanta, and you failed to tell me that your daddy in prison for murdering somebody? He's like, yeah, who wants to remember their murderous father? And Andre pointed around onto him and says, well, what about all the secrets your daddy got in your closet, or whatever the case. And he was just like, well, I'm not running for mayor, you are. So they're obviously heated. In the process of their argument, Pastor Woodbine's slanderous campaign ad came on, and they caught up with Pastor Woodbine after the fact, and she was like, I was a hoe. I was a hoe for in Chuckalisa. I was the first hoe in Chuckalisa, so Chuckalisa can fly. Some pimp slick player shit Pastor Woodbine said. Y'all know she like one of my favorite characters. At this point, Corbin tells Andre at least Pastor Woodbine is honest enough to own up to her stuff. Pastor Woodbine said, I was a hoe, so Chuckalisa could fly. Who can make that up? And the next scene we have Keyshawn and Derek, y'all. And Derek comes in as Keyshawn is washing the dishes, and he buys her a pair of Louboutins, and she's trying to try them on, and she's like, they don't fit. And he was just like, size 7.5. She was like, my feet done spread after having 2 babies. And girl, Derek goes off. He hitting himself, acting all stupid and retarded. Oh, I can't say retarded. I know what I'm trying to say. Acting all crazy. And I can't do anything right. I can't do anything. Keyshawn, what do you want? You want me to get you your car? Do you want me to put your dance room back together? Do you want to go back to the Pink or whatever? And she kind of was like, yeah, I want to go back to the Pink. He was like, oh, I just can't with that place. I can't with that place. But he decides to let her go back to the Pink, and you know, he's like on her waistline, holding her, crying and stuff like that. And as she's like fake rubbing his head or whatever, she smiles, you know what I mean? She has a little smirk, like, you know, she, as my grandpa would say, I love it when a plan comes together. Okay, shout out to you, Papa. Corbin and Kyle have their little altercation, and Corbin is like, this is even low for you, Kyle. And he was just like, well, what did you expect me to do? You over there trying to start a war and this, that, and the third. And Corbin says, listen, how would you like it if somebody's airing out our daddy's dirty secrets? And Kyle hauls off and says, you are our daddy's dirty secret. And you ain't the only half black running around here in Mississippi. That ain't news. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so offensive. But I'm telling you, it's so real, child. It's so real. And you know, Corbin's like, well, how do you split 0 3 ways? He was just like, listen, however it may fall, it's gonna be on you. Next thing we have Miss Haley, or Lakeisha. I don't know which character she is at this point. And she's walking into the hair salon, and the promise lady, the old lady, I don't know what her name is, child. Promise lady, the woman, she's in there getting her Coca-Cola curls, all right. And Lakeisha walks in, and the beautician's like, oh no, baby, you in the wrong location. Sinead's beauty store is way down the road. And the rich white lady was like, no, she in the right place. And so they're talking, I need y'all to excuse us. They kind of hesitantly get up and, you know, let them have their exchange. In the process of the exchange, Haley says, well, you know, I'm here to discuss. And the woman says, well, are you ready to sign the $5 million contract? I'll have my lawyers draw it up. She says, no, I want 10 million. So the lady says, well, I love a woman who understands her beauty. I even love a woman who understands her worth. But you, my dear, are losing your value, and I don't think that you understand. So she said, if you walk out this door, I won't be making you another offer. We'll just be having to go to the polls and see how it all plays out. Child, Haley walked out that door. She said, I know what I'm doing. I said, listen, baby, you better stand on it. If we gonna do it, we might as well do it all the way. Might as well, okay? Minus well. And the next thing we have Wody and Murda at the morgue, and Lil Murda asks Wody, like, you ain't tired of being around all this stuff? He's like, no, not because I know death intimately. He's like, so why, you know, basically he asked him, why did you kill Rome? He was like, man, Rome had it coming to him. He was a rapist, a player hater, you know, whatever the case. And he was threatening about some tape. What's up with the tape? What is he talking about? And Lil Murda stares off. He was like, man, I was 15 and I had to do what I had to do to make sure my mama and my brothers and sisters wasn't hungry. So basically he was like, gay for pay, which is so untalked about, but it's so very real, and people do it, okay? And unfortunately, these young people have to deal with these predatory people who are, you know, using their, you know, impoverished lifestyle and, you know, these poverty-stricken areas, and they flex their power, and, you know, I'll give you a loaf of bread if you do a sexual favor for me, which is just disgusting. But Lil Murda says, you know, that's what it was. And Wody says, so what happened if Rome already put the tape out? He said, well, then I'm gonna just handle it. He was like, you playing God? He was like, yeah, I'm God and I'm the devil. And Lil Murda kind of just like, you know, heard Wody out essentially. So Uncle Clifford's walking in. Now it's time for the reopening. And we see Autumn Night asking Mercedes to do, you know, what she's been practicing. Mercedes is struggling. Mercedes is obviously still struggling with dancing. And we see Diamond and Big Bone. They looking all happy and all in love. And then Autumn says that Mercedes can't do Over the Night. She's not ready. And then Whisper and Roulette is looking like, you're not about to get Whisper and Roulette my spot. And Autumn says no. And in comes Keyshawn. Diamond looked like he saw Montavious' ghost. And they're not excited. Uncle Clifford's mad. Mercedes is mad. And low-key, like, Roulette and Whisper are geek. So they're in the locker room with Keyshawn, Whisper, and Roulette. And they're like, oh my gosh, I wear your lashes all the time. And it's so cute to see Keyshawn kind of return back into this role of like popular princess, the hood princess. We all love her, the pole princess, you know, the Delta pole princess, whatever they dubbed her as. But we all know that person who is like hood famous, but they live in a regular life just like everybody else. And child, so Whisper and Roulette had offered her a bump. She's like, you want a bump? She's like, oh no, I don't do any of that. And I think that's just like a nod to like how that lifestyle really works. Like, them girls be geeked up, period. And you know, some participate and some don't. We're gonna see maybe that drug use increases. We don't know yet, but they comfortable with it, you know, bump it up, period. Mercedes comes in and she pretty much is side-eyeing Keyshawn, and she's like, so I suspect you ain't have no place else to go. And Keyshawn was just like, no. You can tell that it was like that unspoken kind of discussion. And you know, Mercedes basically says there's no place like home. Uncle Clifford and Autumn Night are going back and forth. We can hear them in the background. And you swear you the captain, and I own the pink, and this, that, and third, because Uncle Clifford is not happy that Keyshawn is back on the premises. Now Uncle Clifford done stormed out of the pink, and he's in the car. He's like, oh my God, he is just in distress. He's struggling. And he looks in the rearview mirror and he see his mama, Beulah. And Beulah is pretty much reminding him, baby, remember what mama told you. Bitches don't cry. Just cry. We get even. And I'm like, that's the good one. I gotta throw that one in the back of the noggin. And I also think too, like, when you're going through high stressful situations, we kind of often just refer back to and think about, you know, our loved ones and, you know, how it all happens. Like when we're facing issues or whatever, we wish that we can talk to our loved ones that have gone on and passed on, you know, and things of that nature. So we're at Big Teek's funeral, and you know, he looks good. We see all of his Hurt Village homies pull up, and they were doing this thing where they were like laying out their chain across his body. I don't know if that's a gang ritual, a hood ritual, a Delta thing, have no clue. But I thought it was really beautiful that Lil Murda put in like a little note. It almost looked like he wrote it on toilet paper, like how he used to, and said, I wrote you something for when you down in that hole. Damn, that was emotional. That was good. And then as the pallbearers were like, you know, putting his body into the hearse, which it was kind of like a lingered moment, because remember, they were all just driving in this hearse, you know what I mean? And now someone is actually dead. Now it's a casket in the same hearse. They called Little Murder over. Some other Hurt Village homies, Hustler Village homies. Girl, I will not. Okay, say that 3 times over. Hope baby hustlers. Say it, but home baby humpy bunkers. I don't fucking know. Yeah, so he was like, yeah, so you see the Pico, he online talking about some, yeah, that nigga Teek, we had to put him down because he was taking credit for that. And Big Teek is obviously, we all know that he didn't pass by, you know, said gun gangster violence. And it's not known because they was, you know, the other kids, the other boys that were in the gang was just like, yeah, they said, the cops said he was trying to get jacked or whatever the case. So I think that it's cool. And I don't know if it's cool or not, but they didn't have the discussion that this man took his life. And when it's hidden, when the wound is hidden, it can't heal properly, right? So I think that maybe he should have said, yeah, yo, like Teak, as big, strong as he was suffering with mental health. But it's too much like right for these niggas, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, on one end he was kind of protecting his integrity. He went out as gangster, but still hidden from the world in a sense, you know. And the next scene we said we have Roulette pushing Whisper to get this easy money, girl. All you gotta do is lie on your back, get this money. Mercedes is not ready, and you know, she's trying to fight for her spot. In comes a phone call from Miss Terica. Okay, you're a gummy bear, you're a gummy funny lucky bear. Okay, and it's when we see Mercedes pull up to her house, girl, Shell arrives at the home. Terica looks distraught. She's drunk. She's like, an abortion? An abortion? You got my baby an abortion? You know, she was like, well, if you wasn't so drunk, then maybe you'd have paid attention that this girl was pregnant. She was sneaking out on da da da. So it was a whole bunch of blaming. You ain't her mama. You wasn't there for 14 years. You ain't her mama. You did one good thing. You was there when it mattered the most. So Terica says, mama, and they both turn and look, you know what I'm saying, because one raised her like a, you know, that is her mom, and one is her biological mom, which she formed in a relationship with. So I think we're going to see how that strained mommy duo situation might play out. Terica ends up leaving with Shell, and she kind of had a look of guilt. Was the look guilt or shame? Embarrassing? Regret, maybe, when she was looking at her biological mom, Sadie's. But you know, Terica, why did she run her mouth, child? I'm just saying, y'all, if y'all decide to make a choice for yourself, it's your choice, your body. You ain't gotta tell nobody. Take it up with you and your Lord. Anyway, move right along. Uncle Clifford and Corbin have a scene where Corbin's water irrigation system is messed up. Uncle Clifford comes up and basically just says, you know, this is the new rule that Grandma Ernestine added. When you can't go into the water, bring the water to you. And I'm like, oh, so all of these rule numbers such and such are basically life lessons. I love that, you know, when you can't go into the water, bring the water to you, period. So Roulette and Whisper in the hotel room, they getting geeked, y'all. They getting geeked, trying to get turned up before Whisper turns her little trick. And the boy Terrence shows up, and you know, she's like, well, I'm staying. If you ain't, you know, I'ma stay, you gonna stay, and this is the only way this is all gonna go down. Roulette's in the bathroom playing whatever game she was playing, Candy Crush, and Terrence gives her $200 less. Whisper is just like, he just pretty much says, well, you better be lucky I'm giving you this, because you didn't even moan the way I wanted you to moan, child. And what happened? Oh, so he like, I ain't giving you nothing. So out of nowhere, Roulette just pulls out a pistol. Pulls out the pistol and said, I got a gun, I got a you know, one bullet in here, we're gonna play a game. So she pulls the trigger on herself. Then she puts the trigger to his face and said, Whisper, take his clothes off. And Whisper's like, oh my gosh. She's like, bitch, I said take his clothes off. So she takes the clothes off of him, puts the gun in his mouth, right? She like, how you wanted her to moan? He starts moaning and shit. And then he was like, louder, louder. It was a gangster scene, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That's why her name's Roulette, y'all. Okay, guys, be smart, guys. Okay, so he's sucking the barrel of the pistol. Then out of nowhere, they just running out the hotel room. They got his wheels. He coming to the door all naked, like, I'm gonna kill you. And Roulette is like, I like to see you try. Roulette, she ain't new to this. She true to this. You can tell how she moved. I thought that Roulette was gonna be on some funny money stuff and try to get this girl set up because they got this whole jealousy thing going on. But I love that for them. Get them, girls. Okay, I'm getting money, nigga. I'm cursing a lot in this video, child. YouTube gonna be like, blocker, delete. In the next scene, we have Pico. He's leaving the store. He dapping people up. All right, homie, yeah, I'm gonna get at you. He on the phone with his son. Yeah, I'm gonna see you soon. Daddy loves you. B, why you ain't sleep? Out of nowhere, little Murder pulls up. He like, oh, Murder, nah, I was just saying that because they was giving me all this heat because, you know, Clifford, because Big Teak was pressing me down in Memphis and I couldn't do nothing about it, this and the third. He was just like, oh, he was like, man, don't kill me, man. You know my mama need me. He kind of veered off. He looked to the side. Man, I got a son. My son turning 6. I got a baby on the way. He said, I'm going to tell him you love him, and just spray the man. Spray the man. When I tell you, I don't know guns. I'm surprised I knew that Roulette had a pistol. But in terms of like the Call of Duty, that's the only reference I have for guns. Baby, it was a big gun with no recoil. Ain't that what you call it, Ahmad? When you have a gun and it has like no coil, like you know how you shoot a gun and you spray it and it pops back? I don't know. Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about. He was lighting them up like it was a big, powerful gun. I mean, it was an automatic gun, but I'm trying to say, like, when you pop a gun and it pops you back, like Murder had control of that gun is what I'm trying to say. It looked like he was not new to this. He was also true to this. And I'm like, oh, this is why his name is Little Murder. He's reminding us that his name is Little Murder for a reason. That's the point. Sadie shows up to the party, and in the moment she shows up, they're like, yo, Pico got shot. He about to run down on somebody. She's like, let the niggas handle it. And they kind of have a discussion about murder night. He ain't trying to hear nothing about no guilt, no shame, no nothing. He trying to get in between. And she's like, that's not what I'm here for. Man walks up, like, well, I hope you find it. Gotta go. Gotta blast. Stiffer visits Beulah's gravesite. It was a cute little interaction. Pastor Woodbine is on live, okay? And she is pandering while preaching prosperity. And, you know, she's getting, oh, such and such sent $20. Oh, thank you. So, Brer Rabbit done sent $10,000. She's like, girl, we about to hop. We're gonna hop in the name of Brer Rabbit. Okay, thank you, Jesus, girl. She just carrying on. You know, she's such a player. She's such a pastor, player, pimp, player. Woodbine is a trickster. Okay, so she says, so the her assistant said, yeah, this 10K guy that was sitting in the Cash App or whatever had came with a message, and the message was, cash me outside. She go outside in this Corbin, and she's basically like, what you want, you little light-skinned trickster? And I'm like, ooh, light-skinned is such a throwback word. You dark-skinned. No, I'm light-skinned, girl, child. Ooh, let me not. So he basically tries to give her more money and try to pair her off to drop out the race. We're gonna see how it goes, because he said there's plenty more where that came from. If he knows anything, Pastor Woodbine's probably gonna try to get it all. You should have just put a limit on it, okay? Make it measurable, because Pastor Woodbine, baby, she's gonna go all the way. On the next scene, we have Duffy and Roulette. Roulette drops off Terrence's car at the chop shop, like, I need you to bust this down. He's like, where you want to meet you? Where you want to meet you at? Down at the Pink, you know, down in the valley is what she said. You already know where to catch me at. That was a cute interaction. I'm here for a Duffy and Roulette relationship storyline. Drop down in the comment, let me know, because at first I was just like, yeah, but it's cute. And the very last scene, we have Lil Murder, and he in the studio. You know what I mean? The lighting was set up where you can like barely see his face and shit. And he's in the studio, and it's like, yeah, drop that beat. He look at his hand. He still got blood on his hands. You feel what I'm saying? He still got the blood on his hands. And whatever this about to say in the mic is about to go crazy, y'all. I can't wait to hear the music in the next week's episode, because that song gonna go hard. It's giving many men, okay, wish death upon me. Y'all remember when 50 Cent album came out, y'all? It had us in a chokehold, a real serious chokehold. Anyway, y'all, make sure you like this video and subscribe. It helps on the YouTube algorithm so I don't get swallowed up by the big girls. As always, I'm sending you much love and much light, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.